All right, guys, today we're going to go over a killer deal in Louisiana, a subject to deal that produces big returns, 38% cash on cash returns on this sub 2 deal. What is a sub 2 deal? A subject to deal is when you're buying a property, taking over the mortgage that is in place. So if a Bank of America has a mortgage with Sammy the seller keeps that mortgage in place. We take over the payments and we buy that house with the underlying mortgage staying in place, and we just make those payments for that seller. We like these deals because it allows us to buy properties with very little money and sometimes no money at all. For this property, I had to just put down $15,000 for a clean move-in ready home. This property now cash flows for us $800 a month. God damn, that's great. So now we're gonna break down these numbers step by step, showing you how we purchase this property, the money we put into it, and break down the numbers after all expenses and how it equals that 38% cash on cash return for us. But before we give out all this free, valuable content, you need to subscribe and stay tuned for all these creative finance videos to show you how you can get your first creative finance deal and make great cash flow. All right, guys, so again, we got this deal in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The purchase price of this property was $174,000 for a 3-2 home, 2-car garage, 1,500 square feet. Didn't need really any repairs. Amazing deal for us. The mortgage on this property that was in place with the seller was $161,000. So we had to give the seller roughly $13,000 down. And then we had some closing costs. The closing costs were roughly $2K. So we were out of pocket at closing $15K. Now we put another additional $10K of funds into this property. And that $10K consisted of some light repairs, some fencing. We fixed the sink. I think we bought like a refrigerator, and then we paid our acquisition agent for bringing in this deal, and we kept some money in the bank account for repairs might happen, reserves essentially. So we're all in this deal at $25K out of pocket. Put our own money into it. Typically, we raise a lot of money for our deals, so we have no money involved ourselves. But in this deal, we just put our own capital, $25K, into it. All right, so this property now, we bought this property in October of 2020. This property now rents for $2,000 a month. Our mortgage payment is just under $1,200, and this is the principal, interest, taxes, insurance. So this is the mortgage we took over. So this payment includes the principal, the interest, taxes, and insurance. So really, we don't really have any other expenses on this property. Typically, we put into our numbers expenses for maintenance, which is about 10%, and then a vacancy factor. This property hasn't literally ever been vacant, and we did pretty much all the repairs up front, and we haven't really had any issues. Like there might have been like a clogged toilet or something like that, but really I went through our financials. We really haven't had any maintenance expenses. So for us, so far, we have been making $800 a month every single month on this property. And great deal for us, a very clean property. The roof's newer, the AC's newer, great deal for us. Now, this $800 a month times 12 months is $9,600 for the year. We put in $25K. That $25K equals our 38.4% cash on cash return. This money we make each year divided by the all-in capital we're in, it produces for us a 38% cash on cash return. So again, your cash on cash return is all the money you are able to profit after all expenses divided by all the money you have out of pocket initially on the deal. So for us, we have total out of pocket $25K. We're gonna make $96 for the year. So our cash on cash return is 38.4%. Bang. So this is great for us because we typically aim for a 20% cash on cash return on our seller finance deals, seller finance, creative finance deals. And so this is almost double that. Now, even when I put into a factor, if we had maintenance factor and a vacancy factor, and we put another, say that would be $200 here, $100 here, and I only made $500 a month, times 12 is 6,000 divided by 25K out of pocket. That is still a 24% cash on cash return. So it's still, even when you put those factors in, it beats our minimum requirement, and this is a great deal for us. These deals are everywhere, and they're gonna become more prevalent during times of recession. This interest rate is 3.6% with 22 years left right now on the mortgage. So we're getting great principal pay down, and right now nobody's lending you money at 3.6% return. So these are the opportunities you need to look for when you're talking to sellers. If you can take over their mortgage payments that have great interest rates, you are going to be light speed ahead of any properties you're buying now at today's interest rates of 6-7%. So another great benefit of this house, we are in at 174 as we purchased it at. Our current balance of the mortgage went from 160 to now 150. At that point in time, it was worth 210. Now it's worth 235. So we also have 85K in equity. But we're just going to keep running this property out. We've had no issues. We have a tenant paying good rent, continue to renew their lease, and this equity is just going to grow every single year. Rental rates are most likely going to continue to go up, so we'll have even greater cash flow. Obviously, taxes and insurance will probably rise a little bit as well, but we're going to continue to have great cash flow, have principal pay down of the mortgage, and eventually this equity is just going to keep growing and growing, and it's going to be six-figure deal for us down the line whenever we do sell this property. This is the key to build wealth. You know, everybody gets started a lot of times with wholesaling and you get those quick paychecks, but sometimes you got to see these opportunities and realize that it's more valuable for you in the long run. Take down this property, put a little bit of money into it, and start building a portfolio, building wealth, and just wholesale for that quick cash. So make sure you're learning creative financing, you're going through our videos, you're learning how to run numbers so that way you can make correct offers to sellers, so way you can start building your portfolio and getting great cash flow, great returns in a time where that's going to be the most important for you and your family.